Gator don't play no shit. You feel me?
Is a matter of belief, but we are certain that Satanism exists.
Welcome to That Other Horror Podcast. So many podcasts out there try to be the one and the only. We don't try to be them. We just try to be that other one. I am your host, Ryan, and joining me, as always, are your hosts, Nicole. How's it going,
Hi.
Nicole?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. My computer's telling me to complete linking devices. I just reformatted my computer the other day, and it keeps wanting me to do things I don't want to do. Freaking computers.
Like
anyway,
Skynet.
Skynet. We also that's how Skynet gets you. It links itself to you.
Yep.
And of course, we also have Clint.
Tarrant.
What the? Oh, hey! I got the IMDb pulled up. I know what that is. I know what that is this time. Awesome. Excellent. How you doing, Clint?
I'm doing well.
Fantastic. So tonight's movie was Nicole's pick. We've got Candyman 2.
Man. I am the writing on the wall. Myth. The whisper in the classroom. Lover. I care for you. Avenger. Share my world. Clive Barker's ultimate urban legend returns to claim what is his. Our journey begins. Candyman. Farewell to the Flesh. Rated R. Now playing at select theaters.
Farewell to the Flesh. I think this is our first sequel on the show. This is supposed to be episode 5, but this is episode 4. We'll get into that in a little bit. So 4 in, and we're doing our first sequel to a movie we have not done the original of. And I kind of hope that's the theme running forward. I don't want to be one of those people that has to go in order because, who would actually do that? Watch a film franchise in order, movie to movie, reviewing every single one of them.
Yeah, what
It just clicked.
What kind of psycho would do that?
What kind of asshole does that? So yeah, before we start talking about Candyman 2, though, watch the Amityville retrospective. Before talking about Candyman 2, as always, we like to put our feet up, stick our ankles by our ears, and
Not in about 10 or 15 years have I been able to do that.
I've never been able to do that.
shoot the shit about what we've been doing and what we've been watching. Nicole, this was your pick, so why don't you start us off with your what you been doing?
Just trying to get past Christmas. Holidays are icky for me. But I have been watching some cool stuff. I watched Secret Santa like 4 times in the past week. Because it's one of my favorites. I was actually surprised the other night. I watched Flight of the Living Dead. It is currently on Prime.
You watched it.
Yep. I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed this movie.
Wow.
The CGI was questionable, but the cast was great. I love the claustrophobic type horror movies like The Descent and Zombies on a Plane. It doesn't get any better. It was amazing. It really was. I enjoyed it a lot.
I have very fond memories of Flight of the Living Dead. To me, it's the movie I wanted Snakes on a Plane to be.
Yeah.
I do love Snakes on a Plane, but the humor in Flight of the Living Dead, I feel,
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was so good.
the gore is so ridiculous.
It is, and I love. I can't remember his name. He played Benny in The Mummy.
Oh yeah, shoot, I can't remember his name
can't-
either.
I can't. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he was good. He is actually a really good comedic actor, and he's very dry, but he was so funny in this.
Oh, he steals the show.
Oh, completely.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah,
I'm second for that.
Yeah.
Add it to the list, Clint. The one that I think if you were like in the old timey with the scroll, it would just keep on going
Yeah.
down the street.
It would. There's so many things I have not seen. That kind of puts me in mind of what was that vampire movie in the sky? Blood Sky? Is that what it was?
Blood Red Sky.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Were the mom's a vampire?
That was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
No,
I like that a lot.
I
Okay.
didn't like it. It was kind of boring.
I started the new season of Squid Game.
Oh yeah, that's out.
Yes, it is. I am 3 episodes in, and I'm obsessed with Squid Game. I have been since it first came out in, was it 2021? Something like that.
It's been a hot minute.
It's so good. It's so good, and I'm loving this new season so far.
Doesn't seem to be the cultural impact that the first season was.
Yeah. I think the first season was definitely more.
Lightning in a bottle kind of thing.
Yeah. But this is good. We do see a lot of familiar characters, and 2 years has passed since the original, and I'm enjoying it so far.
I have been meaning to check it out, but like I said, I keep forgetting that it's out.
And you have to watch From. You have to
watch From, so I don't know if I shouldn't start a Squid Game if I haven't seen it From.
Yes, finish From.
Finish From.
Finish From, then go to Squid Game.
Oh, fantastic. Anything else, or jumping over to Clint there?
Nope, jump right into Clint.
Okay.
Well, we did just get past Christmas, and I did want to throw this out there. I got a very nice coffee mug from my brother. This is Elvira with a bat handle. How about that? That's pretty cool.
That is fantastic.
The shape of a coffin. I think that's really cool. So I don't know if I'm ever going to drink out of it, but I mean, it looks really awesome. So
is it one of those heat activated mugs where like
she strips when it
her
gets
clothes comes off?
Yeah.
I wish. I don't think it is. Even if it was 60-year-old Cassandra, I think I'll take that. And I absolutely had the worst day of work in a while today. We had no internet. I found out at 8:00 last night when I got a call that our security system wasn't working. And I just, acknowledge the call, figure it out in the morning, go in, find out no internet. That's the reason for the call. I was like, fuck. That means you can't do anything. Everything I do in my job requires the internet. So ended up hotspotting with my phone, spending half the day on the phone with IT, trying to figure out what was wrong. Did not go well. We're going to go in tomorrow still with no internet, which is why I am so happy to be here talking to you guys.
On the internet.
Yeah, on the internet. Yeah, I got it at home, just not at work. So
how are you going to look at your porn while you're at work if there's no internet?
I'm just going to have to burn my minutes on my phone. You know what I mean? It's just the way it's going to work, So coming out of the holiday season, I managed to watch another Christmas themed movie. I watched It's a Wonderful Knife. Watched that for the second time. I really enjoyed that one a lot. I don't know if it's my favorite one, but I mean, it's in the running. It's in my top 5 of Christmas horror related flicks. We all got together. We watched Dungeon Master one night, and I thought that was really fun. And now I finally know that is the origin of that line that I love so much from Adam Savage on the Mythbusters. I reject your reality and substitute my own.
I love that Adam Savage is a fan of fucking Dungeon Master.
I mean, but are you really surprised by it? I mean,
no, but it's nice to know.
He seems to be really, really embedded in geekdom. You know what I mean? He seems to have his finger on the pulse there. And I love that a lot. So that was really cool. I'm glad I finally got to see that. And I think it was just last night we watched The Living Dead Girl.
God, don't remind me.
So I don't know if you ever heard of this flick. It's from 1982. And I think part of what drew me to it is that in the past I was a White Zombie fan. And so by default, I became a Rob Zombie fan. So if there is a song title by Rob Zombie, chances are it's an old ass movie that he really likes. So I have kind of gone out of my way to watch some of these movies, one of which is Spider Baby, which I actually really like. So I thought, The Living Dead Girl, this has got to be related to that. And then I read the description of it, like toxic waste in a crypt. You know, some dead girl comes back to life. I'm like, this is awesome. I got to watch this. I think it's one of those that sounded better than what it really was. It wasn't horrible, but I think I just built it up in my mind and I wanted more than what I actually got. So sorry, Rob, you can have that one. I'm probably not going to watch it again. But I'm glad I could say I did.
I'm not.
I didn't watch it, so
There you go.
I'd rather watch Alien 3 than that thing again.
Oh my God.
I knew it. I knew it. She had to get one stab at Alien 3.
Just one.
She knows,
Good,
she knows
so
how
we-
this episode's gonna go. So
Because I know you're about to tear me apart with this. Ryan, what have you been watching?
Before I get into what I've been watching, actually, yeah, I haven't been doing anything. I survived Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm bloated. I can't figure out what's going on. I'm 65% cheese. Like I survived Christmas. I haven't done a damn thing. I got my computer finally working. Like I said, it got my teenage daughter decided to dabble her hand at sailing the seven seas and did a little bit of online pirating and downloaded some malware onto my PC.
Oh.
Wait. Your computer got pirated while she was pirating?
Yeah, right. It's
Holy
a reverse
shit.
pirate.
That's a lot of
It's
pirating.
it's an Atirip. I think that's pirate backwards. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, got some malware. Tried to kind of weed it out. Wasn't working. Computer was getting angrier and angrier as I was trying to get rid of it. So I said, "Fuck it." I hit the brakes. Back to factory reset, and that took a whole day to get working again. But I'm here. I'm talking, so I got it working. And I had a conversation about don't download sketchy games off of a BitTorrent site.
Yep.
Because we just got our new computer for Christmas and I don't want her bricking it. So yeah, that's what I did Christmas. As far as what I've been watching, you said I watched Beastmaster with you guys. I have watched a couple other things. I did watch a Christmas movie in the same vein that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I watched that new Netflix film Carry On.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I really enjoyed it. I like me a Jason Bateman. I think he makes a fantastic villain. And it had, what's his name? Eggsy from Kingsman in it. The main guy. He was also Elton John. First time I've seen him without his British accent. And you can tell he's struggling in some scenes. The accent just kind of flies in every now and again.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was a good time. It was a good action flick. It's slow burn, surprisingly, until it really gets going. Spoiler free, but the movie does get a little silly by the end, but you're invested enough with the characters that you're okay that the movie doesn't really make sense anymore.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of along for the ride.
And you're right, Jason Bateman is an amazing villain.
Oh, he's so good in it. Ever since I saw, what was it, that Stephen King miniseries, The Outsider?
I don't think I've seen that.
It's a hard watch. There's some very triggering moments in it, but it is probably one of his best miniseries adaptations. And Jason Bateman does have a small role in it as a good guy and as a villain. It's an interesting interesting piece. If you can stomach it, it's definitely worth a watch. Very creepy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've
Um,
ever seen him as a villain in anything before, so this one was really
mhm.
Carry
Yeah.
On was really, really good.
I also am continuing my Transformers journey, and I watched Transformers Rise of the Beasts or so. I can't even remember the name of it anymore. Rise of the Dinobots. I don't know. It had the Dinobots in it,
Okay.
and I was all excited because I was going to get some Dinobots, and all I got was Mark Wahlberg and that douche canoe from those Deadpool movies. What's his name? The guy that was in the first two, but they didn't bring him back for the third one because he was such a problematic actor.
I don't know.
What? Talk about the Indian guy?
No, he's awesome.
Oh, okay.
The dude with the glasses, and he kept making fun of Deadpool's looks.
Oh,
the bartender.
okay. Yeah.
But yeah, he's in it too.
Oh,
But yeah, you got your Marky Mark, who, you know what, Marky Mark ain't a great guy either. So this movie's just
No.
full of it. This movie's
No.
full of assholes. So again, way too fucking long, and it promises Dinobots, and it doesn't deliver till like the last half hour of the movie. I think. I don't know. I dozed off partway through. I don't know where I was. It felt like a fever dream at one point. I don't know why I'm watching these fucking things. I think I could safely say they're not for me. But yeah, that's about all I've been watching.
Wow. That's a good chunk of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick,
Oh,
you
yeah.
mentioned Marky Mark. He has a new one coming out in I think January or February called Flight Risk that looks really, really good.
Which is
So
funny
if you
because
can-
I'm surprised in real life he isn't a flight risk.
But he plays a real bad guy in this one, so
It'll be hard to
yeah.
for him to do
Yeah.
that. If anybody's curious, Google Mark Wahlberg
Hate crime.
hate crime, and you will
What?
you
don't
will
even
go
know what
down
you're
a
talking about.
fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Anywho, speaking of hate crimes, let's talk about Candyman 2. Farewell to the Flesh.
Why don't we? Yes.
Directed by Bill Condon, made in 1995. Bill Condon, I am surprised. I do like some of this guy's other movies. He made that Fifth Estate flick that was pretty decent. He did The Good Liar in 2019. He did the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2. What the fuck? He did do that Dreamgirls movie with Eddie Murphy that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And he directed Gods and Monsters, which is fucking creepy.
Wow.
But he also did this. And Nicole, this was your pick.
Yes,
So
it was.
please start us off. First impressions. What did you think of Candyman Farewell to the Flesh?
Well, it's Tony Todd, and everything is better with Tony Todd. I love a good prequel, and we got a lot of prequel stuff in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Learning about his origin and how he became what he is, and it takes place in New Orleans, and it's creepy, it's scary. Always with a sequel, they always try to one up the original, so there's more gore, more jump scares, more detailed story. And it does get a little ridiculous here and there, but all in all, it's a great sequel slash prequel. Great cast. We learn a lot about Candyman's family, his descendants, and how he comes back. And I love this movie. I really do. This is one that I could watch just as easily as the original and enjoy it just as much. I saw your eyebrows go up there, Ryan.
All right.
But I do have a very good love for this movie. Cast is fantastic. You can't beat Veronica Cartwright. It's fantastic.
All right. So definitely sounds like a recommend from Nicole.
Yes.
Clint, what are your first impressions on this one?
I was excited for it. I did watch the first movie. I did like it. I understand why they made a sequel. I mean, with the popularity of the first one, you almost have to, and that kind of solidified it as a franchise. I don't know if this was successful as I would have wanted. there was some issues for me with just following the storyline. I don't think some things were explained quite as well as they could have been. You're kind of just like dumped right into it. You're in New Orleans. You get one character who was in the first movie who's now selling a book, um, and demonstrating to the people which that Candyman doesn't exist. Which I thought it was strange that it was just some random audience member that told him to prove it. I figured it would be the guy in the back, who was clearly there, to spy on this guy because he was angry about something. But no, it wasn't him. And I would have to say the opening was probably one of my favorite things of this, even though I just made fun of it. The the kill was great. I like the fact that they took their time, they paced it. My issue was probably the actor who played the brother. That was it, Michael Bergeron.
Oh, the dude
Um,
from Home Improvement.
Yeah,
yeah,
Ethan.
yeah. I think he was probably my major issue. He seemed inconsistent in this movie. Like he didn't know how to play this character. So like whenever he showed up on screen and started delivering lines, it was almost like a different character every time. Like when he met that guy on the street, it almost put me in mind of like some like 1920s gangster. He's like, "You told my dad Candyman wasn't real, see?" It was kind of like that. And then later on, when he's in the interrogation room, he's staring into the mirror and he's like, "I confessed to the murder. That's all there is." Like he
Oh
was
yeah,
just
that line was rough.
he was just very different every time you saw him, and it's like I didn't know quite how to take him, and I felt like he really could have worked on that a little bit more. He took me out of it. Is the point that I'm making of it. That if I had gotten a little bit different performance from some of these people, I probably would have been more accepting of the ride we were going on.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah, kind of. So yay, nay, like a recommend.
I would watch this movie. I would recommend it. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I saw this. I was excited as a kid. Uh, I loved the first one. So even as a kid, I knew, and I was way more forgiving when I was a kid. I was like, I don't think this one was as good. So a lot of the points that Clint made, those are some of my gripes. And it's not just the brother too. Like you got Kelly Rowan in this, and I've seen her in other stuff, and I liked her in other stuff. So I don't know what's going on there because again, we've established the director, like Bill Condon, can make some fantastic movies. The cast is a relatively solid cast. Like you said, you got Veronica Cartwright, Kelly Rowan, Tony Todd, uh, the brother from Home Improvement. So I don't know. I still can't put my finger on what irks me so much with this movie. I don't know if I would recommend it. I like the third one better. The third one's worse. Don't get me wrong, it's worse. But the third one is such a dumpster fire that I am way more entertained by it than I am this one. I
Wow.
get bored with this one, and I feel, again, I've said it before, the biggest offense a movie can make is be boring. And this movie bored me. So I honestly don't know if I'd recommend it. I'd say maybe just jump to if you like a shitty movie, jump to the third, or just skip these altogether and just watch the original and watch what is it, 2019, I think?
Mhm.
Yeah. The 2019 with the Mia DaCosta one, I think her director's name is. Something like that. But I'd recommend her sequel, her legacy sequel over this one.
Yeah. You mentioned Kelly Rowan and that you couldn't put your finger on what you didn't like about her performance. For me, I felt that all of the dramatic scenes were really good. Like any time where she's expressing fear or anger or something like that, when something's actually happening in the movie. What I didn't like about her performance was she didn't seem to know how to play a teacher. You know what I mean? When she's in the class with the kids, she was just kind of like, "Oh yes, oh that's nice. Well, we can't do that all the time. You know, hey, what's happening here? What's going on, guys?" You know, it's like she was just too nice. And in my experience, like a teacher, even though you're trying to help, you know, underprivileged kids, you know, it's like you kind of have to take control of your class. And I felt like she wasn't coming across like that and wasn't convincing as a teacher to me.
It felt like she was teaching kids a lot younger than what were in that classroom.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, yeah, that could be it. So, talking points. Who wants to throw out one there? Nicole, what's something you want to discuss?
I want to discuss the prequel aspect of it because that is what I love so much about this movie. We hear his story, and we actually see him become Candyman. We see Caroline's father and his, gruesome herd chasing him through the streets and then cutting his hand off and covering him with honey. And it was a very hard scene to watch. Because I'm not into torture horror at all, and that's what this felt like. But I think it was important just so we know exactly what the issue was and how he, like I said, how he became what he became, and why you can say his name 5 times in the mirror and he'll appear behind you. We got the mirror backstory on that, and that's what I really loved about this movie.
I would actually agree with that. I mean, that was probably one of the more satisfying things that I got out of this film. Was that backstory showing the torture that he had to endure, and of course his love interest also watching him suffer, and that we actually kind of got an explanation for his name when they covered him with honey, and the little boy got a little bit on the side of his face, and he tasted it, and he called him Candyman. At that point, he was basically a candied man, where he was covered with a sweet confection. And I was like, holy shit. And they ended up saying it a few more times, and I lost count, but I feel like maybe it was said 5 times before the end of that scene. And maybe that's the reason why you have to say it 5 times into a mirror before he shows up.
I never even caught that. I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I never caught that.
Yeah, I noticed they say it over and over.
Yeah. I want to go back and just count and find out how many times you have to say it.
Me too.
Or how many times they said it, because that would make sense. And and if they did that, that's a pretty chef's kiss. Nice touch.
Yeah.
I'll agree with the both of you right there. The flashback sequence, and it's funny. I always like when I think back on these movies, because usually it's a couple years in between watches. I always think this flashback stuff is in the first movie, but it's not. It's this one that goes really deep into that.
Yeah.
Also, too, I can't believe people were bitching about Saw in like whenever it came out, 2000, when this movie came out 5 years earlier and had a way more fucked up limb cutting scene. That Saw goes in, and you see it.
It looked so real. The way his hand just fell on the ground, like it looked real.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah, and I thought for a second that it half closed before it settled down. I could be wrong about that. My brain might have just told me that.
It disappoints me that because this flashback, I almost wish we had gotten this movie instead. Like we had gotten a prequel origin story, and this happens, say, about 25, 30 minutes in. And then the remainder of the movie is Candyman coming back because Victoria calls him through the mirror, and he takes his revenge out on the people that were there.
I would love to see something like that. I would have loved that.
Because this is also like Tony Todd is selling it in this scene. The pain he's in, everything about it. I'm sure the fact that he's shirtless doesn't hurt some people either.
Not at all.
But no, this was the highlight of the movie for me. And it's unfortunate because it's in the context of the movie, it's a relatively unnecessary backstory, with the exception though that it gives us the MacGuffin that is the mirror. What is it with sequels, by the way, and just changing how you kill the bad guy in every fucking movie? Like a Candyman. Oh, you gotta, I guess, burn him in a pyre. They never really established how you kill him in that fucking movie. Part 2, it's you gotta shatter his mirror. And part 3, you gotta destroy his painting. the
Yeah.
leprechaun. You got to stab him with wrought iron. You got to kill him with a 4-leaf clover. Like, Jesus Christ, follow your own fucking context.
Uh,
That
Yeah.
was one thing I did not like about this movie. There wasn't much I didn't like, but that was one thing I didn't like. I didn't like how they killed him. Like, she breaks the mirror, and all of a sudden, he turns into like a giant piece of ceramic and
Mhm.
just breaks apart. Like, I did not like that at all. They should have had him like explode or melt or something. You know, I was not a fan of how they just froze him and had him break apart.
Yeah.
Also, if there was ever a horror movie villain that deserved to just win at the end, I kind of feel Candyman was one of them. I
I
was
think he
waiting
should
for a
have.
movie
Yeah.
where Candyman won.
Yes.
Yeah. But at the same time, I kind of almost feel like he did. Because even though he was defeated, and she broke the curse or whatever by breaking the mirror, she still had that kid.
Caroline.
Mm-hmm. So, which was a weird element, if I'm being honest, because if I'm getting this right, this girl's mother was basically Candyman's granddaughter.
Yes.
So now here we are with the
Hang on.
daughter pregnant somehow with Candyman's child.
No, it's Paul's baby.
It's Paul's baby. She got pregnant the night he died. They had
Oh,
sex and she got pregnant the night he died. And I
okay.
think Candyman was her
That's a little better.
great.
Wait, that's a little better? That's way better.
You guys, you just love pulling the flowers in the attic shit here, don't you?
Yeah, I'm like, what is,
This ain't Amityville, Clint.
like, what is happening here?
Your innocent story. Jesus.
No, it's
See,
Paul's baby.
it's
She
Paul's
even
baby.
rubs her tummy and says, "Oh,
All
Paul."
right, if you say
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, Candyman
But yeah.
was her great great grandfather. So Candyman was Veronica Cartwright's great grandfather.
Okay.
But I will to defend Clint. Candyman uses some of the same dialogue, like he uses some of his famous lines from the first movie as well.
Yeah.
Those lines work when you're talking to the reincarnation of your dead wife. Those lines do not work when you're talking to your literal great great granddaughter. They come off a little creepy.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually watching it with Olin, and that's what he said. He's like, he's getting a little sexual with her.
I literally have a line here that says, "What exactly is Candyman hoping to get from his great great granddaughter?"
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
And actually, that kind of jumps into, like, because we talked about the Paul death and everything. The jump scares in this are really unnecessary, and every time it's that same sting. I don't even know how to describe it. It sounds like a shrieking bird.
Mm-hmm.
And they overuse it so much in this movie. They use it before Paul dies. They have a jump scare there that's unnecessary.
Okay.
And I hate to say the director's maybe being a little racist, but every time there's a black person in the background, they use that sting. Because like,
Yeah.
oh,
The
it's
guy
a
in the
black guy.
bathroom stall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy in the bathroom stall. When she's in the classroom and she turns the mirror and the principal's standing back there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just
Oh my
because
God,
it's a
you're right.
black guy doesn't mean it's Candyman. let's chill on the fucking music stings, guys.
That's awful.
I
Yeah,
didn't
you're
even
right.
catch that.
They don't even look like Tony Todd.
No, they
He's
don't.
like 6
I
foot.
thought that watching it today. I'm like, okay, black guy in the stall. I'm like, he couldn't even be his brother. Like, why does he think it's, Candyman? It's just a tall black guy. But
What the hell's Candyman doing standing up in a bathroom stall?
exactly.
And the same with the principal. Like Candyman's like 6'5". Like the principal's like
He is.
5'10" at the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly
He
Rowan
is.
and him were basically like the same height. Plus, the principal's wearing a suit. He wasn't wearing a jacket. Oh, and by the way, Candyman's wearing a different coat in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like one of those coats that has a cowl at the back or a cape.
Mm.
Bit of
Mhm.
that going on.
Yeah.
Where does Candyman go shopping? Like, you hear all these people talking about how Michael Myers' mask looks like shit in part
Yeah,
4.
he didn't die in that. So I
He
mean,
didn't die in the coat. He died
Yeah.
shirtless. Candyman should be running around in just some work pants.
I'd
And
be
he-
okay with that.
and he didn't die with a hook either.
I'm gonna stab you.
Okay.
No, he
With
did
what?
die. Yeah, he didn't die with the hook in this.
No.
Did they put the hook?
No, the hook broke off and fell into the water.
Yeah, but how does he get the hook? Did they put it on in the
They
flashback?
her father puts the
Yeah,
hook
in the
pan.
flashback. They jab it into him. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm,
that's what I thought. I don't know why, but they
I
did,
don't know either.
Maybe so he can't touch his daughter again.
I guess, because it's not like he has a right hand.
Good luck painting with this hook.
That's exactly what it was. He was a painter. Yeah.
Yeah.
With his left hand, I guess. I don't remember that part of the flashback. What hand he was using to paint?
Yeah. Speaking of the hook, did it bother anybody else how easily he was able to just like stab people through the back with this hook, considering that he didn't like contort his arm like this to like try to get like the point into people in order to shove it through them? He just like pushed it right in like it was nothing, like the whole damn thing was sharpened. Like I don't know, I hate to pick on the physics with something that's supernatural, but I mean it's
What if he was doing like a quick one-handed kickstand? So
yeah,
like, you
maybe
were up in the air,
yeah.
yeah, and then he just
Yeah.
hooks and then does a little twisty twist, and
Yeah, you could have
Up he
done
goes.
like a wheel, something like that.
yeah,
You know,
Like he's throwing his shot put, just
Yeah.
spinning around him.
yeah. But no, he just like punches it through, grind the gullet.
but I always
Groin
think
to
that, and
gullet.
I look to see too if maybe even the groin to gullet part, like the force behind, and which is something I liked in the original movie. When Candyman is ripping groin to gullet, Tony Todd is grunting. Like you can tell he's putting some force into this. In this movie, it's
Right.
just kind of a,
Yeah. Well,
I'm
when
making the noises he makes, which is none.
right. Well, when he killed the husband, that was
Mm-hmm.
that was essentially the only character that got the groin to gullet treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire time, like it seemed completely effortless, and he was just staring at her the whole time.
Mhm.
Watch me zipper your husband open. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the cop got it too.
Yeah, kinda. Not quite as bad.
The husband death was great. The way the blood was coming out from under his pajama pant,
Mhm.
like you could see the blood seeping out like down his leg underneath the pants. That was good.
No, the gore in this is good. I enjoyed,
Mhm.
and it
Yeah.
wasn't, weirdly enough, I wouldn't say it was over the top. Well, maybe that one bee death is kind of over the top
That was great.
with the weird cherry
Thibodeau.
slushy guy. Yeah,
Thibodeau. Yeah.
Thibodeau. Yeah,
Very slushy guy.
just gets thrown through the wall, and he just looks like Sloth from the Goonies.
I didn't mind his death at all. I did not care for his character.
His character's kind of
Creepy.
creepy
Yeah.
and unnecessary.
Yeah.
Well, she did get the painting. She did get the picture. She did learn about him, about Candyman from him. I did like that scene. I was like, yeah, you get it, girl. When she was talking about when she first approached him and, you knew my father or whatever it was she said. And then Thibodeau's girlfriend said, well, why don't you go ask your daddy then? And she just turns around and goes, he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she got some satisfaction out of that.
Yeah.
My problem with Thibodeau being like an exposition dump, though, is we've already got a character who's a bit of an exposition dump, and that's the student, the one who has the weird fascination with Candyman.
Yeah.
Matthew. Okay.
Matthew, thank you. Which, by the way, what's the deal with Matthew?
He
Why?
sees Candyman in his dreams.
Why he see the Candyman in his dreams?
I don't know. Maybe Candyman's collaborating with Freddy. Maybe he's getting some ideas.
And I mean, if Matthew is seeing Candyman in his dreams, that's great. But why completely disregard Matthew until the end of the movie?
Yeah.
If you're going to leave us with that, and then give us someone like Thibodeau who's exposition dumping, when we've already set up that Matthew has some kind of weird connection with the Candyman, and he
Mhm.
very easily could be our exposition dump as well.
Yeah, we almost didn't need Thibodeau. And
I'm not
you
peeing.
know,
I'm pouring a drink.
okay. I was going to ignore it. But because the only thing that we really got from him was kind of like go look in the most obvious place you can think of to find this mirror and smash it. So she could have easily gotten that information from like a dream recollection from the kid, and we wouldn't have needed Thibodeau at all.
Which, by the way, the mirror was not in the most obvious place.
That was kind of. Well, I was in the slave quarters.
Also, it's
house.
1995. Like,
yeah,
why are those still there?
Because it's the deep south, and they don't get rid of anything. They just let it fall down.
Okay, just like
Or wait for a month.
I was
to
in such
clear
shitty
it.
repair when they got there. They're like, "Yeah, it's just sitting here rotting," you know.
Just let it go.
I mean, knowing the history behind it, I feel like
We do that with barns here in
as a
Pennsylvania.
gesture of good faith. Let's tear this down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my two biggest issues. Is the story really feels forced, like it's being delivered through pure exposition, and we had such a great send off with the original movie. We had Virginia Madsen's character set up as the continuation of the Candyman story, and to know that I can't remember the director of the first one now.
It was Clive Barker, wasn't it?
No, Clive Barker wrote the story.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I can't remember who directed the first one, but he had done they originally went to him and he pitched a script he was writing that would have continued with Virginia Madsen's character as as Vengeance. And they shot it down because they were like, Candyman is Tony Todd is now, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Tony Todd as a Candyman. And I am happy to see that he got to do more movies, despite the fact that, woof, let's face it, like that first movie the fact that Tony Todd is remembered as one of the slasher greats is solely resting on that first fucking movie.
Yeah.
Because anything else with him in it, I mean, you can push. At least this one's, I guess, artistic. Is it?
Yeah. I think so.
New Orleans is cool. It definitely ain't the third one. That's all I'm saying. Like by the time we get to Candyman 3, we're done with the franchise.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I felt like this movie had a little bit of a progression from the first one. So even though there was a few things that weren't needed, maybe some scenes that could have been cut, maybe some exposition that could have been delivered a different way, I feel like there was some really worthwhile things in here. And I liked the fact that there was a progression from the first to the second, because he even changes some of the messages that he gives. So like in the first movie, if I remember correctly, he likes to say, "Be my victim." In this one, he says, "Be my witness," which is, bear witness to what happened to me. Know the truth. And I don't know where they went in the third one because I didn't watch that one yet, but I can almost feel like maybe there's a progression to go into that,
Yes, do it.
You should, just to finish out the trilogy. Yes, you should.
Yeah. But I really feel like they were trying to advance the story a little bit. They were trying to give you a little bit more. They were trying to give you more depth to the Candyman character, and I did appreciate the fact that we got a backstory. And as you said, you feel bad enough for what happened to him that you're like, yeah, couldn't he win this one? Why do you have to lose?
Yeah.
But he so to add a bit to that, so yeah, I agree with what you're saying. And I think it's actually coming to me now. I think the biggest problem this movie has is in the writing. I feel the script could have used maybe another pass. Because we do have some of these great, we haven't even talked about Veronica Cartwright yet. And to add to what you were saying, where Candyman says, "Be my witness," we because we get a lot of that dynamic between Veronica Cartwright and Kelly Rowan. Veronica is in complete denial.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm going by the actors' names. I can't remember their characters. Oh, Octavia. That's it. Octavia. She's in complete denial and completely wants to wipe out the fact that they have anything to do with Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly Rowan is, because of what's been happening, she wants to bring it out, which is what Tony Todd wants. He wants the Candyman doesn't want to be forgotten.
Right.
These parts are great, and Veronica Cartwright is fantastic in this movie.
Oh yeah,
she absolutely steals the show every time she's in it. I have a note that says, "Once Veronica Cartwright dies, so does any interest I have in this movie." So I really wish we could have gotten more of that. Where it unfortunately they kind of feel like they want Candyman to get some more screen presence, become almost, and it's the same thing that happened with Pinhead. The more screen time you give Candyman, the more screen time you give this force, this demon of vengeance, the less impact he has overall. And I feel the movie would have benefited more of more of these scenes with Kelly Rowan and Veronica Cartwright.
mm-hmm.
As much as Matthew pisses me off, more scenes with her and Matthew and the classroom talking about Candyman instead of seeing Candyman, kill Thibodeau, kill the random cop because he decided to call Candyman's name 5 times in the fucking interrogation room.
He was a douche. He deserved it.
I know, but that scene's so fucking stupid.
Was I the only one who thought the cop looked like if David Boreanaz and Joe Pesci had a baby? I mean,
definitely. But we needed him killed there because then the other cop saw that it was not Ethan that did it. She reckoned okay, there's some supernatural thing going on here.
That's Candyman getting sloppy. Because there is no, this is 1995, okay? Like they don't got no, open shot or Adobe Premiere Pro. Like they saw that and they're like, that is a fucking ghost that did that. There is no denying that. Candyman has outed himself. He doesn't need no witness because he's got the entire friggin' New Orleans department that just witnessed him kill a cop and toss him out the fucking window. God, that scene's dumb. And then the cop later, we found the detective's body. No shit, you found his body. Candyman threw it into your snake pit. There were 30 cops when he hit that desk. She makes it sound like they discovered it. Yeah, this script needed another pass. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Magically, it appeared.
Yeah. Leave it to the cops, though, right? Like literally, just give it to them on a silver platter, and they make it sound like they made a big fucking deal out of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, we found the body. No shit.
The things I do love this movie, but the things that I didn't like, you guys are right on that. There was some of the dialogue was rough, and was delivered rough. Especially Ethan, he was not overly fantastic. One of the other things that bothered me, and I don't understand how you can go through what you went through with Candyman, knowing the legacy, knowing how to summon him. You have a daughter, so what do? You hang mirrors above her bed.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought this up.
What the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah, I got a couple.
That was awful.
My note. Oh shit, no! Exclamation point. Rip those mirrors out of the damn room. Kid's gonna be the downfall of all of y'all.
I wouldn't have another mirror.
You could just say it in their sleep and it'll show up.
Exactly. I wouldn't have a mirror anywhere in my house if I went through that. Let alone hang them above my kid's bed. And isn't she a little old to have a mobile above her bed?
Yeah, the mother's like, time for your nap. I'm like, that kid is fucking 8. That kid is not napping.
What the hell was up with the DJ voiceover telling Candyman to chill out and eat some gumbo? I mean, just peppered in throughout this, we get some radio disc jockey, talking about the Candyman, but not by name. And it's like, oh, hey, if you're standing in front of the mirror, keep your lips tight. it's like giving advice to like the community not to summon Candyman, and pleading with him not to come back and kill people. I didn't quite understand the purpose of that.
He gives us the title drop.
Yeah, and a little bit of narration throughout. And I'm dating myself here, but I, honest to God, thought when the first time I saw the movie, I thought it was Wolfman Jack.
I was gonna say, I'm like, he gives you he gives Wolfman Jack
Wolfman
vibes.
Jack voice. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the narration didn't bother me. I kind of liked it. The whole New Orleans thing this movie's got going for it is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love seeing that New Orleans stuff. And I'd have gumbo with Candyman.
Yeah. Although I felt like we got Mardi Gras with no boobs.
Well,
We had a sex scene on the balcony.
Sex scenes. Sex scene on the balcony and sex scene in the street.
Yeah.
You got to see boob in the street.
Yeah.
Oh. I must have
You're
missed it.
slacking.
I do remember the balcony scene, but that was late.
I don't know. I like the whole side thing. That's sometimes works for me. Paul and Octavia. Okay, Paul and Octavia. There are some scenes early on in the movie. Were they fucking?
No.
I don't know.
She
Especially
was flirting, but yeah.
Paul looking back at her too. I don't if they weren't, they were definitely DTF. Because Paul gives her a look too. Like when they meet up at the police station.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Annie to talk to her brother. Paul's talking about how he got her like coffee with all the fixins. And yeah, no, like I was feeling like I was getting like hot under the collar.
Coffee with all the fixins. What the hell's that? Cream and sugar, or do you drop some?
I don't know. She's clearly a functioning alcoholic, so I'm convinced to put like straight whiskey in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got an Irish coffee going on. All right.
The only other thing I have is one really shitty line that Candyman has in the flashback.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "My pain was unbearable, but Caroline's was even greater."
Yes.
Was it? Dude got his arm chopped off. Covered in bees. I mean, I get that like she would have been grieving for a while. And yes, grief is terrible. Dude got his arm chopped off. That feels like something you'd read out of like one of those Harlequin romance novels. And that kind of the way it was shot too, the flashback kind of felt like that too, like that old timey. Like if he wasn't shirtless through the whole scene, he definitely would have been rocking a shirt that like had like the whole V going down the front. I'm surprised his hair wasn't like down to here and like flowing.
For him, it was physical pain. For her, she just watched her father and the townspeople murder the love of her life in a horrible fucking way. She was feeling that for the rest of her life.
Fine. Okay, I'll give it to you. Just he got covered in bees.
Yes.
Yeah. And stung to death.
But yeah. And it'll lead me to the last talking point. It's something we've already kind of brought up, like with, we wish Candyman would get a win. Just like other like tragic monsters, like you got your Frankensteins and stuff like that. Like Candyman really is a tragic villain. Like he's one of those villains. The saying goes, what makes a great villain is when you can empathize with why they've become a villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel with Candyman, we 100% can. If it wasn't for the fact that he just keeps killing random people. And that's my biggest problem.
If you don't say his name in the mirror 5 times, you got nothing to worry about.
Thibodeau. Thibodeau didn't say his name in the mirror 5 times.
No, but he was with Annie.
But her character had done it earlier.
That's what I mean. It just seems kind of shitty that
he chose to come out and kill people whenever she was with them.
It just seems, and I get it. It's because Candyman wants to continue. You can't just be killing the people that are saying your name because it ends there.
Yeah.
You need to
keep the legend alive.
Yeah, you need to keep the legend alive.
Yeah.
But it does make it kind of hard to sympathize with him when he's killing randos.
And his own great-granddaughter when he
Yeah,
killed
that's
Octavia.
kind of fucked up too, right? Why? Oh, because there is no Candyman. That's right.
Yeah, that was a great scene
Mhm.
though. She delivered that line so great.
Veronica Cartwright's so good in
He does
this.
not exist.
Why did we not? Is she still alive?
Oh yeah, she's doing conventions now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did we not get more Veronica Cartwright?
I don't know.
And I don't get me wrong, I love Sigourney Weaver. Like she was what made me realize I was heterosexual. Um, but originally Veronica Cartwright went for the role of Ripley, and I feel if she had gotten that role, we would be seeing so much more of her.
Yeah.
Because she always plays. She doesn't get any leading lady roles. She's never got them, and it's unfortunate because her acting chops are phenomenal.
They are. One of my favorites of hers is The Witches of Eastwick. I love her in that movie.
I've never seen that. That movie came out in like what, 92?
You would love it.
I was 9. Like I'm
Oh,
not
shut up. I don't want to hear that.
gonna watch The Witches of
I was
Eastwick.
9.
Ryan, you want to watch the
I
Care
was
Bears?
20.
Yeah. You want to watch the Care Bears movie or want to watch The Witches of Eastwick? I'm gonna pick Care Bears. Care Bears movie fucking rocks, by the
Put
way.
it on the list. Clinton, have you ever seen The Witches of Eastwick?
No
It's going on your list. That I will redo
Okay.
at some point.
comment.
But yeah, Veronica Cartwright was fantastic in this movie, and she delivered a line that I still use today when she's talking to Kelly Rowan, and she says, "What is it? Death is a return. You find out that you leave this world the same way you come in." And Kelly Rowan says, "Alone," and she goes, "Naked, blind, and covered in your own shit."
She ain't wrong.
Yes, she ain't wrong. She's fantastic. I love the details in this movie because I love, and I would love a copy of the book with the mirror cover. I just
Mm,
thought that was so cool looking.
Mm.
I kind of want to know. Like that was a thick book. I want to know how much you wrote
Yeah.
because they told that backstory in like 3 minutes. So you
Yeah.
you ain't making a book that thick.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
I'm sure that it included like firsthand accounts, people recollecting how others
Mhm.
died
And
from the myth of Candy.
he interviewed every single person in Cabrini Green from the first movie.
There you go.
Well, if he
Makes sense.
managed to interview multiple people in Cabrini Green and survive, I kind of feel that if Candyman did show up, he would have just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Cabrini Green is a hard ass place. All right. If nobody's got any other points to bring up, I'd say let's slap a number on this. Nicole, this was your pick, so why don't we start with you?
All right. Again, I do not have a system for this. I'm just rating how I feel, and we're doing out of 10, right? I love this movie. Very few things wrong with it. I don't like the way he died, and some of the dialogue was delivered poorly. But I'm going to give this an 8.5.
Oh.
8.5 out of 10 from Nicole.
Mhm.
Clint, what are you feeling?
Well, I don't have nostalgia blinders on right now. So I feel like one of the things that we really didn't address during this was how incredible some of the effects were. You know, like even though Nicole made fun of the mirror scene at the end and him basically turning into a ceramic coffee mug that shattered and fell onto the ground,
He
I
was
still thought that
mirror
was a cool
shards. It
looking
was
effect.
shards of a mirror, guys. He wasn't
Yeah.
ceramic.
Yes.
It looked like ceramic.
Well, when they showed like the cross section of like the pieces that fell off his face, it did look an awful lot like ceramics. But yes, I did get the mirror shard shattering effect there, and that was really cool. One of the other ones that I thought was fantastic was right after he killed the husband, and she scratched his face, and it opened up, and the bees flew out of it. I mean, that was a really, really good effect. So I mean, they really put some effort into this, and I really think they tried. It's just there was some storyline choices and some writing that could have been tightened up and made a little bit better, and I would have found this a lot more enjoyable. That being said, I did give it plenty of good marks. And in the end, on my typical scale that I use, I gave it 16, but I gave it 2 wild card points because it's Tony Todd and there was some cool shit in here. So it's an 18 out of 30. I gave it a 60%, which of course is a 6 out of 10.
All right.
I'm so disappointed.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, we're not done yet.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
All
Go
right.
to the negatives.
It's not gonna be a negative. Okay, so I have been. I feel I have said some positives about the movie during our discussion. I do feel these positives do not make up for the negatives. I feel the first movie, and I try to rate a movie on its own merits, but with the original ending on such a high note, with this possible continuation of the Virginia Madsen character being the new iteration of, Candy person. I don't know what they'd call her, Helen. But anyway, I was upset that we didn't get that. Tony Todd in this is still great. He's a presence. He's like Godzilla. He's like a force of nature. Like when Candyman is coming, there's not a whole lot you can do. And he comes for a lot of people. He says it all the time. He's definitely a highlight. Veronica Cartwright, as I've mentioned, is fantastic in this. The special effects are nice and bloody. There are some issues I have with it. I didn't bring it up during our discussion, but like when there's a close up of Tony Todd's face when they slice it open, the bees come out. It really irks me that his head's turned up a bit, and you can clearly see that it's a prosthetic because the nostril don't go nowhere. There's no hole in the nair, so there's no nair in his nose. It's just a rubber nose, and you can clearly tell that's what it is. And that's kind of the movie as a whole for me. It feels like a rushed sequel almost in a lot of ways. I felt the script needed another pass. The special effects were pretty good for the most part. Could have used some touch-ups. I didn't care for the story at all. I found it unnecessary. I loved the flashback. I wish that had been the whole movie. Instead, we get Candyman. We get Jason went to hell. Jason went to space. Candyman went to New Orleans. I don't know if I'll ever watch this again. Honestly, I watched the third one for a good chuckle. I watched the first one because it's fantastic. I watched the Legacy sequel because again, it's a good movie. This one's just kind of meh for me, and I feel my score is going to reflect that. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, not a huge fan.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
You're a bigger person than me because I take jabs at you all the time, and you just did that without doing that to me. So
We'll do Alien 3 someday. You'll get to talk shit.
I know. I'm sure.
You get to talk shit about a movie I love.
Yeah. After he said it, I imagined blowing wind and
Just a
tumbleweeds going through
Yeah.
like a deserted western town. I was like, oh shit.
I can definitely appreciate that you enjoy this movie. Because I mean, and you shouldn't, and I want to put that out there. People should never have to feel bad about enjoying something that other people don't like.
Yeah.
I absolutely love so many movies that other people question my sanity. So never feel bad about enjoying a movie, even if nobody else likes it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I do.
4 out of 10. Because this movie's boring as fuck. I'm sorry.
We were all over the place on this
Yeah.
one. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
It's nice. I like it
High,
when
medium, low.
yeah, I like it though when we're all over the place.
Yeah.
It's fun to
I do too. Yeah.
it's fun to do movies that not like like if we're all just going to do review movies that all of us
Yeah,
love,
we
then
agree.
what the fuck is the
How
point?
fun is that?
Well, there aren't any movies that all of us love.
I harken back
we
to
wouldn't
our
have a show.
I was gonna say, I harken back to our first episode where we all gave it very high ratings.
Alien
Yeah,
Romulus.
Romulus. Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Actually, I got to be honest, I was going to give this movie a lower rating until our discussion, and it actually bumped it up. I was going to give this like a 2.5.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Wow. End of show. I'm done. She
Oh.
throws down her headset, gets the hell out of here.
But yeah. All right. So let's jump on over to our quick little game here. That's just fun to get you guys to guess this. Nicole, this was your pick, so we'll start with you. I'm looking at the letterbox right now for Candyman Farewell to the Flesh.
Mhm.
There are 16,354 ratings.
Okay.
What is the average score all around for Candyman Farewell to the Flesh?
I'm gonna go right to the middle, 5.0.
Okay, so Nicole says 5.0, and Letterbox does a 5-star rating system, so I'm going to cut that in half
I'm
and do
sorry.
it. That's okay, I'm going to do a 2.5.
That works. Yep.
All right. 2.5 for Nicole. Clint?
I actually think it's higher than that. I'm going to go with a 3.4.
Well, Clint, you went way in the wrong direction. Although, well, technically you did go in the right direction, just way too far. This movie has a 2.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Okay.
Wow.
So again, Clint,
Yeah.
your rating for this
Shoulda won
your rating
knowledge,
for
yeah.
this movie is the closest one out of the three of us. Clint is very much a man of the people. He
Mhm.
rates how the people feel.
Yeah.
So this movie does have some 1-star ratings. So out of the 16,000 plus ratings, what percentage of those are 1 star? Clint, start with you this time. 3% for Clint.
I'm gonna say 1%.
1% for Nicole. You went in the wrong direction. This has 4%. So we got a Nicole win. We got a Clint win. We're right down the middle. 690. The most common rating for this movie is 3 stars or 6 out of 10.
So Clint
Clint's again. Yeah, he's a man of the people. He seems to know what the people
is.
like.
should run for president.
There you go. All right. Anybody got anything they want to plug, say, all that jazz?
I'm just going to plug what I always plug, and that, of course, will be the Grease Stain Cinema, which, of course, is my new YouTube channel that all my new content is going on. This show included. Nicole and I just did an episode on Deathboard, which was a hell of a lot of fun. So, yeah, if you haven't checked out the channel yet, please hop over there, like, share, subscribe, watch all of our videos. They're amazing.
I watched that episode, by the way, and I think an episode of you guys just arguing back and forth about which TV dad would win in a fight would make for some good YouTube content.
I love that stuff, though. I do. I love a good debate like that.
That was a lot of fun.
As always, I'm 1/3 of the Hormonal Werewolves. I keep trying to say what episode of ours is going to come out at the same time that this does, and I'm going to give up on that because it never lines up. So yeah, check us out over there. We're on YouTube as well. We watch movies new and old, good and bad, everything in between.
Cool.
Nicole, you got anything this week?
The only thing I can think of is Secret Santa. If you have not seen this movie, it's streaming on Prime. Adam Marcus is just a brilliant writer and director. It's one of the funniest horror movies I've ever seen. It's one of my all-time favorites. I will watch it in July. So if you can get a chance, go check it out, please.
Yeah, I think you can rent it for like $3 on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's free on Prime, I think. So yeah. And he's.
Or you can order a DVD.
I was just
directly
gonna
from
say
them.
they got the Blu-ray out and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Adam Marcus is very much a for people that don't know, he was the director of Jason Goes to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
He's very much fan focused.
Oh yeah.
I get drunk occasionally, surprise, and I will write reviews for movies, and he actually responded to my review of Secret Santa. So he's the only director to do that, by the way. Oh,
That's awesome.
That's not true. Matthew Mark Hunter responded to my review of Air Fryer Slaughter.
Yeah.
There you go.
I met Adam Marcus in last April at New Jersey Horror Con, and he was, like you said, very fan friendly, sweet as
Mhm.
anything, very nice guy. Yeah.
And people quit shitting on Jason Goes to Hell. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Come on
I
now.
plead the fifth.
I knew it. So just before we head out, Clint, it is your first of 2 picks next. So what's your first one gonna? I know what your second one is, but what's your first one gonna be?
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to put a lot of thought into this, and I wanted to pick something that I feel like doesn't get enough love or enough coverage, or just something that maybe got slept on, other than the cult people who love it. So I wanted to go more in a full moon direction this time, and I was gonna say Castle Freak.
You raised my hopes and dashed them quite expertly. Bravo.
I was terrified you were going to say Ginger Dead Man.
Any of y'all say Ginger Dead Man, I am walking right the fuck out of here.
I never. I will never.
Castle Freak. That is the original, correct? Not the remake? Okay.
Right. With
Oh,
Jesus,
Barbara
Crampton and
Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs.
I have not watched. That is, yeah.
I've never seen it. This will be first time watching.
Oh.
You are in for
Oh,
a
This is
treat.
not the
yes, can't
remake.
wait.
The remake is fucked up.
There are 2 of them.
All right, Castle Freak. I kind of dread watching it again.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. So yeah, tune in next week for that. And as I guess that's it. We're done. So as always, remember that so many podcasts out there try to be the one and the only. We don't. We just try to be that other one. Have a great night, everybody.